nasty feet. If you would have asked me 5 years ago where I'd be today, I never would have guessed I'd be here sharing my journey with you. The last 5 years, oh gosh, here we go already. The last 5 years have been challenging, gratifying, and life-changing. And I'm thankful my experiences with Norwex have played the starring role in my journey. I'll be honest, when I was asked to share my testimony, I immediately went to a place of fear. I'm not a fan of public speaking, and I couldn't think of anything powerful or inspiring to share. I thought of all the ways that I could get out of this, bring on the stomach flu. Oh, that's awful. So I thought maybe laryngitis would be a good excuse. But then I reminded myself, as I have so many times throughout my Norwex journey, that growth happens when we push ourselves past our comfort zone. The journey is more about progress and growth over perfection. So here I stand, and here's where my journey begins. 5 short years ago, I was a wife and a mother to 2 beautiful daughters with a 3rd child on the way, and I was working as a full-time nurse. I had fallen in love with the Norwex products the year prior, and with a little urging from my coworkers, becoming a Norwex consultant made sense. It'd be a great hobby, and I swore nothing more. Little did I realize that Norwex would become my thing. I sent in my application and immediately had a pit in my stomach. Can anybody else relate to that? Yes. Not only was I terrified of public speaking, but I was also quite certain that the consultant who introduced me to Norwex wanted nothing to do with me. True. Why would that be, you ask? You see Kimberly Warner. Where are you, Kimberly? I don't even see it. Oh, there she is. Kimberly Warner and I had met informally years before my introduction to Norwex. I was the pediatric nurse for her daughter, Maddie, and one day in the clinic, I made a mistake. A mistake that would shatter my confidence in myself and my ability as a nurse. I administered a misordered immunization to Kimberly's infant daughter. I was devastated, defeated, embarrassed, and while the error had 0 negative impact on Maddie, the shame and the guilt took its toll on my self-esteem, my confidence, both personally and professionally. This was a mistake that I would beat myself up over for years to come. So you can imagine the shock and horror I felt as I walked into my friend Chrissy's kitchen to attend her Norwex party years later. There stood the consultant, Kimberly Warner. I had not seen her since the immunization accident years earlier, but that night after the party, I mustered up the strength to again apologize to Kimberly for the mistake that I had made years prior. And not only did I apologize, but I also had the guts to check that I want to host a party back somewhere. Who does that, right? And invite her into my home to do a party for me. Can you believe that she said yes? The forgiveness that Kimberly extended to me that night meant more than she may ever know. I'd not be here today had she not gathered the strength to forgive me and had I not gathered the strength to approach her. It's amazing how sharing Norwex with others can connect us from those from the past. For forgiveness and now a great friendship, I have Norwex to thank. I've learned firsthand that the magic happens when we put ourselves past our comfort zone. We're human and we all make mistakes. Take ownership of them, learn from them, and grow. Let progress over perfection be your motto. It's become mine. The day of my first party arrived quickly. There I found myself in front of 10 strangers, shaking in my boots, literally. And my opening statement was, bear with me, I don't know much, but they tell me the product sells itself. It was showtime. I put on my glasses and began. People seemed interested, they loved the products, and even laughed a few times. And I almost made it through my whole show, but then the unthinkable happened. My lens fell out of the eyeglasses and onto the floor. One of the guests politely offered to fix my eyeglasses while I continued with my show, but I couldn't stop laughing. Before you know it, the whole room broke out in laughter, and when I regained my composure, I had to explain that I was wearing fake eyeglasses, and that I had perfect vision. And wow, was the lens quality awful. These are my magic glasses that when worn, I can pretend that nobody else is in the room. My gig was up. I fearlessly finished the rest of my show without my glasses, and wouldn't you know, left that night with $1,500 in sales and 7 bookings. Sympathy bookings or not, I would take them. Through my experience with Norwex, I've learned that success is directly linked to authenticity. That night, the lens falling out of my glasses was honestly the best thing that could have happened to me. I was mortified, sure, but when the lens hit the floor, I had no choice but to be myself. And afterward, I realized that it was essential to be authentic. I could be much like Norwex. I could be one of a kind. I remind myself often that I'm in the relationship business, not the sales business. Genuine interest in others and connection is key. You and I are the best product that this company has to offer. So dare to be you. You're good enough. For the blessing of self-discovery and the authentic me, I have Norwex to thank. With each passing Norwex moment, I've gained confidence in myself. I'm for the first time in my life comfortable in my own skin, proud of who I am and the work I've done, and I'm now going to stand in front of you without my fake glasses. We're going to retire those things for good. They've made many appearances. I think you should consider retiring your glasses too. Be yourself, be authentic, it works. In August of 2012, I attended my first Norwex conference. Who's at the first conference today? Oh, yay, so exciting. The excitement of conference was first overshadowed by a death in our immediate family. Despite our loss of a close family member and reluctance to leave my 2 girls at home for a few days, my husband and I packed up the car, and with our 5-week-old son Miles for the ride, we made the 6-hour trip to Minneapolis. I remember being blown away by the first conference session and was looking forward to the training to come. That all changed when a freak accident occurred. While returning to the hotel after dinner, our newborn Miles fell from his stroller 5 feet and landed headfirst on the cement steps outside the entrance of the hotel. Our world stopped, and it took that horrible accident resulting in a skull fracture and bleeding on the brain and a NICU stay for me to stop going through the motions of everyday life and start truly living and dreaming for the first time. It was that weekend that in my head and in my heart, I committed to living life to the fullest. I was reminded that life is short and precious, and I wanted to spend as much time with my loved ones as possible. I had found my why. My husband, son, and I were able to attend the banquet on the final night of conference, and it was seeing others walk across stage, being honored for their sales and team building achievements that motivated me to do Norwex big time. I wanted to be them. That night, I verbalized my first big goal with Norwex. I was going to quit my nursing job to stay at home and enjoy raising my 3 children. But with my husband being a teacher and no money trees planted in the backyard, there would be financial stress. So in order to quit my job, the next 6 months, I would have to meet and exceed both sales goals. I would need to add 6 personal teammates to my team, and had given myself 6 months to do that. The very next month, I exceeded my sales goal, and I added 7 new teammates. I was able to quit my job not 6 months later, as I had intended, but 1 short month after conference. Woo! The following year at conference, I too find myself on the stage as a top seller and top team builder. For a purpose-filled, flexible, family-first opportunity, I have Norwex to thank. Don't wait for something major to happen before you start living the life you dream of. It's never too late to find your why and your motivation. There's no better time than now to begin writing down your goals. Short-term for upcoming parties, and other long-term for the months and the years ahead. What's Norwex going to be for you? Motivational speaker and author Greg Reed once said, "A dream written down with a date becomes a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan backed by action makes your dreams come true." We have a great company, fabulous products, in a world of opportunity. Identify your why, write down your goals, and get after it. Once you've achieved it, ask yourself what's next. So in 2015, I did just that. I asked myself, what's next? My family was healthy, my Norwex business was strong and consistent. I achieved my personal goal of earning the Costa Rica trip for my husband and I. Yeah, he's still a weirdo. We moved into our new construction dream home. I still love that house. And both were long-term goals and the result of intentional, persistent, and consistent work with my personal Norwex business. We were comfortable and by all means should have been happier than we ever were. Despite feeling personally accomplished, fortunate, and thankful, I came to the realization that our dream home did not fill my cup the way that I thought that it would. I had the scary realization that the home we looked so forward to was the last and final goal that I had set for myself and my Norwex business. That goal was achieved, and now I realized I needed a challenge and a change. I believe I was too comfortable, and with my Norwex experience, I've learned that growth doesn't happen when we're comfortable. As I look back at my Norwex career, I found myself questioning how I ended up where I did. Was success timing? Was it luck? I let doubt fill my head, and I needed to prove to myself that it wasn't either of those things. Delusional, irrational, crazy, I know, but a move across the country to an often dream about warmer climate was my answer. I wanted to grow my business down south, and Texas would be the place. We'd never been to Texas. Knew nobody in Texas, and all of our friends and family lived in Wisconsin. The challenge would be getting my husband Jake on board, and I was certain that would not be easy. Common to many relationships, our relationship has not always been textbook nor easy. We got pregnant early in our relationship, and next came marriage. This was a second marriage for Jake, so he kept things really simple. He proposed to me while he had the stomach flu. A thrifty and financially conscious guy, he generously traded in his first wedding band to purchase my ring. Yeah, through his ex-wife at the jewelry store she worked at with her discount. That was awesome. Super classy. Next came Vegas and Elvis, who desperately needed a body cloth. I literally had to wash off my shoulder after a picture. Wedding vows exchanged, we headed home to celebrate with family. As we picked up the second-hand cake cutter that my mother-in-law provided, I looked down to read Jake and Maggie and their wedding date. But nonetheless, we survived, barely. This was all in the first 18 months of our relationship, so you can imagine the stress that babies and careers and finances would later bring. We've not always been on the same page, and we both questioned early on if falling in love fast was meant to be. So you can imagine my shock and surprise when during my daily plea to move, my business-savvy husband looked at me and said, "Let's move. I support you. We'll do this because I believe in you and the endless opportunities that you have with Norwex. If this is your dream, it's my dream too, and we'll find a way to make it happen." Jake was prepared to leave his teaching career, a career in which he was in a leadership role and was highly respected in his school district, and we would move to Texas. I'm now certain I could not ask for a more selfless, supportive husband and cheerleader. 1.5 years after our move to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I can confidently say my business is growing, and timing and luck have nothing to do with it. Texas is home, and my family and I are living life to the fullest. We often talk about the power of one. Success with Norwex begins with you. One individual with one dream, which leads to a plan, and one party, which leads to a teammate, and so on. One has the power to turn into many. And when you're authentic, passionate, intentional, persistent, and optimistic, you'll achieve things that you never dreamed were possible. So here I stand, 5 years after faxing in my application, 950 parties, 1,200 plus teammates later, and countless blessings. I knew as a Norwex consultant I would have a positive impact on the lives of others, but never imagined the impact this opportunity would have on myself and those closest to me. For newfound confidence, strengthened relationships, and the consistent reminder to live with purpose, I have Norwex to thank.